Is Amazon FBA dead? Is it worth it? In 2018, is it still profitable or is it saturated? Is it easy or is it too competitive? Guys, if you're wondering those things, stick around because this video is for you. What's up guys? So if you're new to this channel, my name is Myles and I'm a 7-figure Amazon seller. I've grown my business in a very short period of time from zero to more than $1 million per year. And so if you're wondering all of these things and you have these fears about like, is Amazon FBA worth it? Am I gonna lose all my money? What am I getting myself into? I wanna give you some context from my perspective because I've been on both sides in a pretty short period of time. So I've seen those fears come and go. And the fears that people, or the questions that people ask me are the same as the ones that I had when I was just starting. So I wanna get these out there and explain them from my perspective, both as a beginner and from where I am now today. And I really wish actually that when I was starting out, I had someone sort of just answer these questions for me. So without further ado, I'm gonna start with number one, which is it's too easy and it's too good to be true. So this is like a really big one because I'm naturally quite a skeptical person. So when I looked at this and I realized that I could just go on YouTube or I could go on Google and I could literally type in, and this is literally how I did start my business, was how to make money online, and then just find all of these free resources that break something down for you and show these huge numbers. Needless to say, I was really skeptical that that would actually work. And let me provide some context here. A lot of this stuff is like quite old as well that you might find on the internet. And about 5 years ago, so it's 2018 now, and about 5 years ago, 2013, 2014, it was too good to be true. It was a gold rush. All you had to do was go on Amazon.com, find a product that was selling really well, pick it, go on Alibaba, pick the first supplier that you found. Didn't really matter what the price was because it was going to be really cheap. Go and drop $200 on whatever, 100 units or something, get them shipped over to Amazon. Maybe on the way, like take some photos of the product with your mobile phone, get it up, do nothing, and then just like suddenly you'd sell them and you make lots of money. And then of course you'd order thousands and thousands more, and then suddenly you're a millionaire. I think that worked maybe 5 years ago. It obviously doesn't work anymore today, but there is still that's kind of like, you know, that idea that it's just like this get rich quick scheme. And if that's what you're looking for, you're gonna be sorely disappointed. It isn't. It's a business. It's a real business. So now, as time is going on, we need to get back to fundamentals of business and actually creating value and also creating barriers around your business that protect your business from competition and allow you to make this sustainable profit over time. That's not a bad thing, guys, that this is no longer too easy or too good to be true. It's a good thing because it allows you, the person who is willing to do the work and is willing to be smart about doing the work and to learn from mistakes and just keep going, it allows you to step in and to build a great business. Okay, so that leads me to number two, which is the flip side of this, which is that I don't have enough skills, money, or resources to get started. So let me run you through why this isn't the case. First of all, the business process. So there are 5 steps that we need to go through to go from zero skills, zero experience, to having a product launched on Amazon successfully. That's firstly your product research. So you have to locate or identify a product that's generally already selling well on Amazon, has sufficient demand, and that is also something that you can differentiate and add to in some way, or at least like stand out from the other guys selling it. And then number 2, you got to find that product from a supplier. So generally in China, through Alibaba, and get someone to make the product for you and customize it as you wish. Number 3 is that you have to do your Amazon listing optimization. So that's basically making sure that both Amazon understands your product and the customers that are going to come and see your product like it and will want to buy it. Number 4, once you've got your product manufactured, the listing's done, and you've sent your product into Amazon, you're going to launch your product. So you're going to get these ranks for the keywords that you want, up to the point where customers are seeing your product and they're buying it because it's a good product. And then number 5 is that you're gonna reinvest the money that you're making both into reorders for that product, and then you're gonna repeat the process to launch more products and reinvest those profits into growing your business. And that, guys, is scale. So that's a 5-step process, and that may or may not sound complicated to you, but I can guarantee you that all of the information is out there. I'm actually going to do videos on each one in detail, so if you're interested in learning more, hit subscribe now. There's also plenty of information out there through Google or through YouTube, and you can pay for it if you want to through courses, but if you don't want to, it's all free as well. And it's just a matter of taking that information, putting it into your brain, and then taking action through that every day moving forwards with those 5 steps, because there's only 5. It's really simple once you break it down, and each of those has individual tasks that you need to do. So you start to see that this whole like big crazy idea of like, oh, I've never started a business before, I have no idea what to do, this is also new and unfamiliar. And then once you've broken it down, it's just like, well, no, I need to take photos of this product on a white background. Or when I'm looking for a supplier, I need to make sure that they are verified and have a gold star. Or when I'm launching a product, I need to make sure that my main keywords are being targeted and I'm hitting those keyword rankings and getting to #1 position. So once you start to look at it on this granular level, the whole like, I don't know anything or it's too hard, that kind of dissipates when you realize that it's just 1 step at a time. 1 step each day, taking 1 step forwards. The second thing is capital. And so this is something that maybe this is an issue. So again, like I was saying, like 5 years ago, this was all really easy. You could start with a few $100s. Today, this is no longer the case. You're gonna need at least, I would estimate at least $3,000. And if you have more, it's better. The reason why that number is probably higher than what you might have read, either because people have been launching products previously when less money was required, or because they're not considering a lot of the additional costs. So your ranking process, your launch process, for example, costs more money than you might think, or it can do anyway. PPC and advertising costs can eat into your budget. And as well, here's probably the most critical thing, is once you've got a successful product making money, you're gonna run out of inventory and you need to have all of this money to do a reorder that's probably gonna be much larger than the first one. And there's actually like a timing issue where you've paid the money out for the previous order, but Amazon has not yet paid you so that you can do the next order. And so if you don't have additional cash, that like reordering process can cause a bit of a trouble. And as well, you want to be able to, once you've figured out the process, you've done it once and it works, you want to be able to scale as fast as possible. So essentially, the more money you have to start off, the better that you're going to do. And I think a minimum of $3,000 is necessary. And guys, if you don't have $3,000, you can still do it, but it's just gonna be a little bit harder for you. If you wanna start with a few $100s, I recommend that you don't. I recommend that you go, maybe invest that in a different online business model, or just work until you've saved up more money and then come back and do this properly. And by the way, guys, the time that it takes to go from zero, no resources, no knowledge, no experience, to successfully selling on Amazon can be really quick. So I have a friend, Wayne, if you're watching this, good on you, man. I'm super proud of you. But Wayne has gone from zero, not knowing anything about Amazon, just like chatting to me a little bit. And now he's already launched his product and it's already selling on Amazon. And that was a period of like 6 weeks. So guys, it's possible. It really is. So if you've got the money that you need to start for your first product, go out there, get the resources on the internet, subscribe to my channel if you don't know where else to find them. Once you've found the information on the internet and you've taken action and started working through that step by step on a daily basis, and you've got the money that you need to get started, you're good. It's no longer too hard. You've got what you need. Go do it. So that leads into number 3, which is a big fear, and I hear this a lot, and that is Amazon is too saturated or too competitive now in 2018. There's too many people who've come in and therefore the money's all gone. This is categorically not true. And I want to show you one graph that I think illustrates this really well. And here it is. So what you can see, this is Amazon's organic growth. So this is how much money they're bringing in each year. So this is telling us that, yeah, maybe there are new sellers coming in and selling more products, but it's because there's a huge amount of new customers coming in every month and every year. So if there aren't new sellers coming in, then who's gonna meet that demand? And I wanna stress that this was my biggest fear when I was starting 18 months ago, was that it wasn't that I thought it was gonna be just too good to be true, or that it'd be too hard to get started. I thought it would be too saturated. And I was wondering, like, how can I, as somebody who doesn't know anything about e-commerce, about online business, how can I just come in and, like carve out my little place in this huge Amazon ecosphere? Seeing this graph and realizing that there are so many people coming into Amazon, so many new customers every day, now I understand why it's been so successful and why the opportunity still is going to exist for years to come. There's just so many new people buying stuff on Amazon that it's crazy. So, and over the last 18 months, I've noticed a few things. First of all, I've seen a lot of competitors come in and then go as well. So that's the thing. If you can view this as a long-term sustainable business that you will use to change your life, not just to make a quick buck like this, you're going to outlast the 99% of people who either never started or they started but they gave up after like a month or 2 months, or just like way too soon to start seeing the benefits. And I've seen that in the last 18 months, is I've seen a lot of people come in selling similar products to what I'm selling and then just go, they fade. And that's just a matter of having that concentrated effort over a longer period of time. If you can do that, you will outlast the competition. It's not a question. The other thing I want to say is that when I went into this, seeing all of these numbers and going through this product research process and seeing like, oh, this product is selling $10,000 a month, this one's selling $5,000 a month, all of the demand and the estimates and everything that I thought that I could possibly make with each product, almost in every case, and I'm trying to think of exceptions, but I would say in 95% of the products that I've launched, what I've actually made out of them has been more than what I expected, not less. The 5% of products that made less than what I was expecting, you drop them, you get rid of them, and then you launch another one and it's gonna make more than what you think. And that's why it's so fantastic. Another thing is that when you're looking at products, a lot of the time, the demand changes because you've got all these new customers coming in, as well as like seasonality effects. So certain things sell really well in summer and certain things will sell, most things will sell really well over Christmas. But a lot of items actually will just sell really well during a certain period of time, and you won't know this until you have the product. So I've had 2 products that were selling really slowly for a long period of time. And I was kind of tearing my hair out thinking, shit, like these products have failed. And what was actually happening was that it was just waiting for them to come into season. And then when they came into season, bam, I sold through like that and I made money on them. So overall, don't be too worried about the saturation or the competition. If you're committed to this as something that you're gonna do and you're gonna make it work, you will make it work. And you'll see that most of the people around you who are the people like your competitors, the ones that you're worrying about, they don't have that like determination and they'll just fade out. And the final thing, and probably the most important, is that you do have to differentiate. You do have to make sure that your product is going to add value that another product won't, whether that is in something visual like the packaging or like a nice aesthetic presentation, or it's a functional differentiation, or it's like a quantity or additional like complementary things bundled together. You have to do something that's going to stand out and make a customer want your product over a similar product. If you can do that, your competition goes from here down to 0, and then you're set. And the next thing that people seem to be worried about really often is that it's just so hard to pick a product or pick the right product. And I want to like take a step back from this and just say that it's not about, with your first product, it's not about finding that perfect like goose that's going to lay the golden egg for you and then you can go and retire. It really, that's like a pipe dream and it's not going to happen. But what you do need to look for is a product that will allow you to get into this business and to start generating profitable cash flow, and then to allow you to expand from that into new products and therefore scale your business and get to the $1 million mark or wherever it is that you want to get to. And guys, this isn't that hard to do. As long as you don't look at it from the perspective of like finding the winning lottery ticket, but rather starting, making money and building out of that over a period of time, suddenly the gates are wide open. Lots of products are good. Lots of products are good. And I want to say again, in terms of my experience over the last 18 months, what I found was that I really had a lot more worries about the product selection when I was starting and when I didn't know how this worked. Now that I've done it a few times and learned and gotten a lot better at it, I've realized that you can actually do pretty badly and still have a profitable product. And in fact, when I started, I wouldn't say I deliberately did this, but it was kind of in the back of my mind because I had launched 3 products when I started. And 2 of them I put my heart and soul into, and I spent lots and lots of effort to make sure that they were really good products. The 3rd one, I kind of just half-assed it. I spent a lot of money on like shipping it just to get it in there quickly. I spent very little money or no money on the photography because I did it myself. I think it was at like 4 a.m. the night before I was flying out of Australia internationally. So it was just a rush job. The product itself was really low quality. Oh man, I could go on and on about like the problems that this product had. And I knew that there were problems. See, that's the thing. I wanted to see what the sort of like worst case scenario was. And guys, worst case scenario was, so this was probably the worst that I could possibly do. And I made money on that product. I have dropped it, but I still made a return on that product, even though it had all of these issues. And the 2 ones that I put my heart and soul into, those products are still really profitable today. And so the idea with these first 2 products was not to make $100,000 per month with each product. That's silly. Of course, then if you're looking for that, it's going to be too hard to find and you're going to lose hope and become disappointed. Find a product that you think you can make some money with, whether it's $1,000 a month or $5,000 a month, something that you're going to be really happy with if you succeed. And then go through all of those steps that I described before. And again, I am going to talk about these in more detail. So subscribe if you want to know more. Go through that process and just get a product out there, because it's going to be the starting product. It's not the end of the game, it's the start. And you're only going to get better from there. And take it from me that even if you mess up a lot of things along that way, the worst case scenario just isn't that bad. If you really, really, really mess up your problem in a bad way, normally you can still sell it at cost or maybe slightly below cost. But generally the worst case is that you're going to get most of your money back and you're probably still going to make profit, just less than you expected. Number 5, guys, is how can I source the product? Once I've found it, how can I get it from China without losing all my money and just like doing a wire transfer into a black hole and just like losing all contact with them? Guys, this is again something that I worried a lot about before I started, and then as soon as I had my first product and as I've gone on from there, it's no longer really an issue. So the way that business kind of works in China, and so I'm assuming that you're getting your products from China, is that if they're going to rip you off, and as long as you put in some really simple steps, again, I will talk about this in future videos, but essentially before you've built a relationship with a supplier, pay via PayPal, use Alibaba Trade Assurance, pay using a credit card through those 2 methods so that you have 2 layers of protection. Make sure that you always get inspection reports, third-party inspection reports, so that you can see the goods before they get shipped out, before you pay for them. Do basic things like that, and the risk of something going massively wrong is really low. What you do need to watch out for is quality issues. So for example, if you negotiate a low price, that supplier might not have much profit margin, and what they may do is try and like lower the quality a little bit and hope that you don't notice. Get the inspection report and you'll notice. There are so many suppliers out there that it's quite easy to find a good one and to build a relationship with them. And once you've done that, a lot of that risk really fades away. And especially again, once you view your first product as the starting point for something much bigger, and you go through those processes and you start to realize like the purpose of them, what works and why it works, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 10th, 20th products, you've done that so many times and you've got that process so locked down that these risks of oh, I'm worried that I'm going to lose money, or I'm worried that I'm going to get ripped off, or not get what I ordered. Honestly, guys, I think that is not really something that you should be worried about. So guys, those are the top 5 most common fears, objections, and concerns that I had when I was a beginner and before I had started, and before I knew what I know today. And also, those are the top 5 most common things that people tend to ask me about the business model. So I hope that I've sort of provided you a bit of perspective as to what you might think it is versus what it really is. Guys, I want to leave you with one final bonus, and that's something that I've learned going from 18 months ago as a complete beginner with no experience, no knowledge, and a lot of fear and uncertainty and doubts within myself to where I am today. And that is that it's fear itself, not any of these things that we've just talked about, but simply mental fear. That's the biggest obstacle that's holding you back. It's always going to seem like the opportunity was better before, or it's too hard to start now. But realistically, you just need to get moving. There's a really cheesy quote that is cheesy, but I love it, and I try and live my life by it. And it's that the best time to plant a tree, to start a business, to do anything was 5 years ago, and the second best time is today. So with all of that said, I hope that this has been helpful for you, and I hope that you can get started today. All right, guys, that's it from me. It's over to you now. I really hope that you enjoyed this and you found it valuable, and if you had some fears, they've been eased a little bit. Now, I want you to do 3 things for me right now, because this is the only way that as I'm putting out new content, I know that you guys are finding it valuable and enjoying it. So number 1, I want you to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this. Number 2, I want you to hit the subscribe button down below. And then number 3, after you've done that, hit the little bell dingy button so that when you can be notified whenever I put out new videos. People are asking me lots of questions about Amazon, about my business, and how I've used it to change my life, and how you can do it potentially yourself as well. So stay tuned until the next video, and I'll see you then.